Eric Rill, a 5-time SCG Tour Open champion, against the Boz, Andrew Boswell. He's a 1-time SCG Tour Open champion. See these players both 3-0, and we got one heck of a cluttered battlefield here. So we'll take a look at Eric's first, as he looks like he's losing an Archangel Avacyn. He's got a Hangerback Walker on 4, Hangerback Walker on 3, an Oath of Nissa, and then a Nissa Voice of Zendikar with just 1 counter, though he is tapped out. Now Boswell is coming to the red zone with a Sylvan Advocate, which is very large. Looks to be a 5-6, maybe a 6-7 because of that Gideon emblem. A Nissa, Vastwood Seer, and then a Hangerback Walker. So things look to be in favor of Boswell, at least right now. Though it's tough to say.
I'm also not sure what's exactly up with the tapped Sylvan Advocate. Aha! Boswell got it too.
There you go. Now in Boswell's hand, he does have a Dromoka's Command. You can see he has the necessary mana to cast said Dromoka's Command.
That, by the way, is a sign that someone is very confident when they go into combat. When they tap the Vigilance creature,
oh,
that is a sign.
Is that the tell? I like where I'm at right now.
It means I just want to get to the point where you're blocking. I can't wait for that moment to happen. Just
Boz has a Dromoka's Command here. So we're going to see a little bit of fighting and all of that jazz. Nissa's going to bite the dust. And as the battlefield clears up, Rill will be given 3 Thopter tokens, and he'll be untapping. So let's go back over to Eric Rill. See his eyes light up a bit with that draw step. Maybe some new life here for him as there's a Sylvan Advocate. And now a Nissa. Those are the last 2 cards. He can cast them both. Worth noting here is that we've got ourselves a pretty close game. The question, of course, is what does Boswell have left over? Because if Rill wants to, he can actually go towards Westville Abbey.
Yes.
He's got plenty of creatures to be able to do that. Got some Thopter tokens giving some beatdowns here. Boswell going to fall down to 14. He'll quickly untap. He'll take a draw. For Andrew Boswell, this is a deck that he's had a lot of success with in the Grand Prix circuit. Top 16 finish at Grand Prix Minneapolis. And then lost playing for top 8 with this deck to Pascal Maynard at Grand Prix Pittsburgh. So very confident with this deck is this member of Team Card Hoarder.
Team Card Hoarder on the inside track for the SCG weightlifting competition championships between Boswell and Devin Kepke.
It's an easy win.
Easy win.
Over any other competitors, it's an easy win. Boswell with a morph. Nissa did transform. Now we head over to Eric Rill. He gets a plant token. You see the Nissa had 1 over there for Andrew. Reason for that is because he got to make the 4/4 elemental with that. Shia. Rill's just trying to figure out, is there a way for me to continue to cross the finish line here? Now, the clock is playing a real role. Now, we will confirm that this is game number 2. Though these green-white mirrors do get a little bit grindy, so I'm not too surprised to see it's only game number 2 here.
I think the issue right now for Rill may be that Boswell has just played this Den Protector, and I believe there was a Tragic Arrogance in his graveyard.
That would be a problem.
And that's a lot in this spot.
Looks like Rill is going to come across for at least 6.
Might be a split there. Tries to finish off Nissa, getting some points.
Rill going to play a Plains, pass the turn back. So we're going to be heading Boswell's way here in just a moment. But he might have some end-of-turn effects, like unmorphing this morph. Now let's actually call it what it is, an unmegamorph of the Den Protector. Going to get a counter. And Archangel Avacyn. Hangback Walker going to grow. Boswell untap. Take a draw here. Boswell might be thinking Sylvan Advocate. And he is. Now, you mentioned the tragic arrogance, but Boswell didn't want to go that route. He does have one in his graveyard. A couple Trimoka's commands down there as well. You see Hangerback Walker going to grow for Rill. Up to 7 counters. He's also going to make a cleric there off of the Westvale Abbey. Or he might just be making a full-blown move here. Okay. He's making a full move. So what he's doing is he put a counter on the Hangerback Walker. He says, I'm going to sacrifice a bunch of creatures, including my Hangerback Walker, to make Ormondal Profane Prince. So Eric gets some Thopters left over. And now it's time to untap. He'll draw. Boswell have any way out of this? Yeah, because Eric's going to cash in Nissa. He'll attack with all these flyers, and that's going to get the job done there for Eric the Thrill Rill. Him and Boswell are going to try to play a third game, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. I find it rather unlikely.
Going to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and these decks are a lot better at blocking than attacking, I would say.
Yeah, I predict a shuffling of the deck, maybe a little bit of conversation here, but getting a third game finish here seems borderline impossible. That said, you know, we can take a look at the sideboards and what they've brought. Now, let's talk about green-white just kind of on the whole. You know, feeling as though Gideon's gotten a lot worse in this particular metagame. How do we feel about this deck? It's just kind of something to play this weekend.
Well, you know, it is, I would say, has the best pedigree of any of the decks from the previous standard format. And if you think that the metagame is going to be light on dedicated flying decks, then the deck's still a fine choice. My concern is just the spirit cards are really good. I would expect a lot of people to be playing them week 1. And if there's a lot of flying floating around, you know, is this deck just a lot worse than it was?
Yeah, you see neither player even really go back to the sideboard. They're going to try to finish. They're in turn 1.
Okay.
Here's a Hangerback Walker. There's a Westvale Abbey. Going to come across here for 2.
I like
Boswell.
the attack.
You like that?
Getting the 2 points.
Boswell will make a plant token, pass the turn back. The thing about these green-white token stacks, they're very good, they're very consistent, they're very powerful, but they don't win fast.
No.
It's
a slog.
Yeah, that's not one thing this deck has ever done, no matter the build of it. It's turn 4 of extra turns. Avison's the draw here for Boswell.
Just short.
These decks like to grind you down with their Planeswalkers, their Evolutionary Leaps, and their Avisons. They don't cross the finish line all that fast. Both players with Nissas. Both players will show their hands. It's going to be a draw. No one likes to get a draw this early in the tournament, but that's just the reality of the situation. Green-White Mirror, I think something, and this is going to be kind of weird to say given the last format, maybe something that neither player really expected to run into.